the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development conducted the Water Sanitation and Hygiene Conference recently in Bulawayo from the 30th of October to the 1st of November 2024. The Water Sanitation and Hygiene Conference were a combination of ministries such as the Ministry of Local Government and Public Works, the Ministry of Health and Childcare, and the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development. Deputy Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development officially opened the 2024 WASH Conference in Bulawayo. The main agenda of the Water Sanitation and Hygiene Conference was to improve the water service delivery in Zimbabwe. The Chief Director of the Water Resources, Irrigation Development and National WASH Coordination highlighted the need for the private players to participate in the WASH sector.
Government has led in this thrust, but beyond government, it is saying private sector cooperating partners can now come in guided by all the thrust of government to do other business units. It could be in schools, it could be in institutions, it could be in the villages. So as government does its part, we are looking forward to the private sector also doing exactly the same and borrowing from the government direction and the policies that government then rolls out. All these things can only be known and can best be done when we come together like this and say and ask each one of us to report on what they've been doing where, so that areas covered, they are already covered, whether by government or anyone else.
The government of Zimbabwe is willing to work hand in glove with the private players in order to develop the WASH sector. The Director of Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Department in the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Nesbert Shirihuru, in his opening remarks emphasized that the private sector should also contribute to the development of the WASH sector.
The Joint Sector Review is being held back to back with the joint commemorations of the Global Hand Washing Day and the World Toilet Day. And the world over, the Global Hand Washing Day is held on the 15th of October and the World Toilet Day on the 19th of November. So we are combining these ones and commemorating them on the 1st of November. And we are being hosted by Matabeleland South. And I am informed we are going to be at Mbuso Primary School. And we should be celebrating both communities that have become open defecation free. We have also a pipe water scheme that is quite resilient, and that has become one of our drought mitigation centers.
The Deputy Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Honorable Vangelis Haritatos, was the guest of honor at the WASH 2024 conference in Bulawayo. Honorable Vangelis Haritatos, in his address, called for the investments to be channeled towards water sanitation and the hygiene sector. Honorable Vangelis Haritatos also said that the sector was in need of urgent attention since the 2023-24 season was negatively affected by the El Nino-induced drought. Deputy Minister Haritatos highlighted the key initiatives being done by the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development.
This calendar event for the WASH sector, running under the theme Climate Resilient WASH, a call to action for universal and sustainable WASH services, comes at a time when our collective efforts successfully combated the spread of cholera. While we mourn the loss of our beloved ones to this disease, or this archaic disease might I add, we take pride in the achievements in halting its further spread and saving countless lives. The sector has to strengthen infection prevention and control WASH services delivery, for we must acknowledge that the underlying causes of cholera is inadequate WASH services, and this should now not be happening in modern day 2024. It is my sincere hope that the 2024 JSR edition will proffer practical and actionable measures to arrest sector decline and ensure health security for all Zimbabweans. You will recall that our nation is still currently grappling with the severe impacts of the 2023-2024 El Nino-induced drought, which led to the declaration of a national disaster by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa. The El Nino-induced drought has had a devastating impact across all spheres of life, has threatened access to safe water, and has undermined livelihoods with preventable losses of livestock.
The Deputy Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development also added the importance of the WASH conference to the current climate change.
As we confront the realities of climate change, it is imperative that our WASH programming be climate resilient to adapt and mitigate the impacts of climate change. Existing infrastructure needs to adapt and new designs should be resilient to the changing climate. By integrating innovative solutions such as rainwater harvesting, sustainable drainage systems, and inclusive sanitation technologies, we can better protect our communities from the adverse effects of extreme weather events. Furthermore, it is essential that we strengthen our WASH research and development. By investing in comprehensive research, we can gain valuable insights into the impacts of climate change on water availability, sanitation systems, and hygiene practices.
At the WASH conference, representatives for the Minister of State highlighted the challenges of water shortages in Matabeleland province. In relationship to the WASH conference, Mrs. Dlamini said this conference is key, especially during this time of the El Nino-induced drought.
The integration approach has proved to be very effective in harnessing and addressing the critical needs of our communities. And we are thankful that this includes water provision for both humans and livestock. I've just talked about livestock in my preamble. We are a province, as Mat South, that pride ourselves with cattle or livestock. This is part of our endowment or comparative and competitive advantage. We are so grateful that this program, as long as you drill a bowl, we know that our cattle will also find water from that bowl, even if it's for domestic use for human beings only. There is a story that is going about in Matabeleland South, whereby this lady, she went to collect water in a bucket from far away from a borehole. With numerous tasks or chores, household chores that women do, she's supposed to wash the plates with that water or cook. She puts her bucket outside. What happens to that water in the bucket? There comes a very thirsty donkey. The donkey drinks all the water while she's inside trying to take out the dirty plates to come and wash. When she comes back, she finds that the donkey has taken the water. What does it mean to you? As human beings, you are now the ones carrying water for the donkey.
Still in Matabeleland province, during Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Conference, cattle farmers shared how it is difficult to keep livestock during the ongoing climate change.
My experience is that I'm trying, but I'm not 100%. But as I'm doing my job, my cattle are still surviving. Like small ones and the big ones, I just create the small ones, they're on the other side. Those big ones, I feed them. In the morning, I just give them some grass. They go. In the evening, they get some food from survival food. And the pen feed, I also do the pen feed. Also carrying some water for them. I also pick some water with my truck. Just put the drum so that if they eat, they need to get some water.
The Ministry of Local Government and Public Works was represented by the Deputy Minister, Engineer Benjamin Kabikira, at the WASH conference. Engineer Benjamin Kabikira called the councils to order and said local councils should upgrade their service delivery.
May I remind you that the current key driver in the local government sector is premised on the promulgations contained in the local authorities' service delivery blueprints, which is called to action, no compromise to service delivery. That was launched by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, on the 1st of November 2023. It is common cause that our country has gone through a period of economic distress, and the effects are felt today as much as we are on the recovery path. Therefore, our local authorities, whom central government entrusted with the not so inviolable role of bringing the services to the people, are obliged to comply with the call to action and no compromise to service delivery blueprint. While reasonable progress has been posted in meeting the 30 June 2024 deadline, we have some local authorities who still have to comply with the instructions in the blueprint. I am glad to inform the present esteemed guest that the Ministry of Local Government and Public Works, in line with its prescribed demanded crafted minimum service delivery standards for 8 service delivery areas in local authorities, which I assure you will be adhered by local authorities once made into law.
On the sidelines of the WASH 2024, another expert from the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development called for the water, sanitation and hygiene services to be top-notch as some of the challenges were addressed, especially in the financial sector.
We also failed to come up with the sector one budget WASH sector, which would then inform our sector financial implementation plan, which also leads to the issue to do with the sector investment plan and strategies. That one is still a huge gap. We want to try and come up with a one budget, a one work plan, where we consolidate what Treasury disburses around different ministries and government departments. The other issue is to do with the WASH delivery models and technologies.
UNICEF was also present at the WASH Joint Sector Review Conference in Bulawayo. UNICEF chief highlighted why WASH sector should be improved in Zimbabwe.
We recognize that the journey ahead is long. About a third of the population still lacks access to basic drinking water services, and nearly 2/3 lack basic sanitation services. It is especially tragic that children suffer most from diarrhea and respiratory diseases.
Metpol Engineering is one of the private players which is currently working with the government to make sure the water service delivery in Zimbabwe is up to standard.
We are partners in various ministries of the government and also international organizations who have projects around Zimbabwe. We are coming in as Metpol to partner and support the JSR because we know that it will also impact on the views that will come out, will also impact on our operations, on whether to improve on our technologies or whether to improve on our products, on whether to improve on our delivery timelines. If also what we are providing to the communities are also being being sustainable. So supporting this conference will also assist us as the private partner who also provides materials to the communities where these will be where they will be used for sustainability.
The Minister of Health and Childcare, Dr. Douglas Mombeshora, was represented by the Director of the Environmental Health Services in the Ministry of Health and Childcare. In his remarks, water is key as it prevents people from contracting various diseases.
We should celebrate the significant progress we made in improving our water, sanitation and hygiene practices through participatory health and hygiene education models, WASH in healthcare facilities, WASH in schools, and provision of non-food items like soap, jerry cans, aqua taps to vulnerable communities and households. Government will continue strengthening and prioritizing WASH sector research and development agenda under the auspices of the National Action Committee to ensure we maximize on the various innovations in the sector nationally and internationally.
After the Sanitation and Hygiene Conference, the Ministry of Health and Childcare, the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries and Rural Development, and the local government and public works were set to commemorate the Global Hand Washing Day and the World Toilet Day.
The other event that we are celebrating back to back with the Global Hand Washing Day is the World Toilet Day. And nationally, the sanitation coverage is 39%, and open defecation is hovering above 25%. So which means we are also celebrating or commemorating the significance of toilets as the primary barrier for the fecal-oral transmission route. And definitely, the Honorable Ministers, if we continue to allow open defecation to happen,